Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of BIM Pure Live. I am a host, Nicolas Catelier. I'm an architect, a BIM specialist, and the founder of BIM Pure. We've got a great episode for you today. In fact, it's the season finale, then we'll be taking a break for the summer. So if you're watching live, you can type in, as usual, in the chat where you are watching from. We've got Isham from Kamloops, BC. So we don't have the next episodes to announce yet because we're taking a break for the summer, so we'll return with a new season in the fall. But meanwhile, I can announce something for our paid members. That is office hours session. This is the third office hours I will be running. That's just a session where you can ask anything. That is this Friday at 11 a.m. So for those of you watching that are BIM Pure members, you can join and add this event to your calendar by going to the BIM Pure portal. For the others, well, if you're interested, you can check out the BIM Pure membership if you want to get access and join these sessions and get assistance on your issues. And something else to mention. Last year, we've launched the BIM Pure membership, which includes access to all our content. And that includes our core Revit courses, basics, design, manage, and inherit families, our collections of downloadable files, so our Windows collections, Doors collections, Dynamo scripts, Pro template, and also mini courses with various experts in BIM and AEC tech, including courses such as landscape, innovation, practical open BIM, building a Revit toolbar, ChatGPT for BIM managers, creating renderings with D5. We also have live masterclasses. These are live events exclusive to our members, often focusing on technical topics. You can see all the sessions that we had so far. All the replays are available for you to check out, and also upcoming ones. So you can see here, for example, we do have an upcoming session with Andy Christoforou about D5 renderings, where Andy will answer your questions about D5 render. So learn more by going to bimpure.com, and you can get access to all of our content by subscribing for a year. Yeah, that's it for this week. So without further ado, we should move out to the guest, which is the second time coming to the show. He is the CEO of Snaptrude, which emerged a few years ago. So welcome, Altaf. How are you doing?
Really glad to be here. Thank you so much, Nicholas. Thanks for inviting me back again. It's been,
Yes.
I think, 2 years now.
It's been 2 years. Yeah, I was actually checking out the previous episode to prepare for this one to see how have things evolve. So I guess that the last time the positioning of Snaptrude was the ease of SketchUp with the power of Revit, and it was sketch to BIM. That's how you presented the tool. Can you explain, and I invite people to watch the previous episode if you're curious, but now we're going to cover the new version that has been released today. Can you explain what has evolved in the vision?
For sure. I think since we have started the company, the idea has been the AC industry needs better modern tools. And the version which we presented 2 years ago was our first glimpse at solving the designing and the modeling part, where sketching and parametric modeling are somehow two sides of a different ecosystem. One is like oil, one is like water. They don't combine. That's why people use SketchUp and Rhino for sketching and modeling, and then Revit for parametric and documentation. And our first attempt was, can we combine this into a single experience and do the sketch to BIM in a single tool? Today, what has evolved is it's not just designing and modeling, it's an entire ecosystem. That's why we call it as design OS now. It's things around the design and the modeling, which is programming, data, requirements, documentation, presentation, everything in a connected ecosystem. So that's what this new release is about.
Yeah, and you did take off the version offline, not available to public anymore. So when did it go online, offline, and why did you take that decision?
Yeah, so this was almost 18, 20 months ago, like November of 2023. This was intentionally done because we had, like, when we were in beta, we had thousands, tens of thousands of users on the platform. And it was good to see them using us across various segments. but it was becoming too much noise for us to prioritize because they were using us through design till construction across various use cases. And we realized we cannot build all of those features simultaneously. We are a startup. Even though we have a great strength in our engineering and product team, we cannot literally build everything across the value chain. So we said we have to pick a spot. And the way we can do it is by working closely with some type of customers, some type of users. And we prioritized architecture firms, largely mid to large size firms, mostly across the US and a little bit in Europe. And that's when we decided to close the product for general access. Like nobody can, unless they become a customer, cannot use a product. And the last 18 months has been heads down, closely collaborating with them, making all of these mid-sized firms, large-sized firms successful. And now we are actually seeing the results. Since early this year, they are deploying it on projects which are like 500,000 square feet to 1 million square feet, getting work done in 70, 80% faster than they would do it in, say, Revit or any other tool that they use, and seeing tens of thousands of dollars of saving per design iteration. And these are like meaningful size firms. And once we started doing that, we now have the confidence that we can launch back again. And that's what we did today morning. And this will be the first time I'm presenting it outside the small presentations in lunch and learns I've done.
Yeah, well, congrats on the new launch of the tool. I guess maybe we should just introduce. I'm assuming some people watching live might not know what even Snaptrude is. Maybe we skip that part. So how would you describe Snaptrude overall? So we've heard of the phrase the Revit killer, the BIM 2.0 modeling app. How would you describe it for people who are not too sure what it's about?
Yeah, in a way, I think all of those things do apply, but can we deliver on all of those comprehensively? I wouldn't say that. Too much expectation if you want to like do everything which Revit does. But in very simple words, I would say it's a design tool focused on the early stage of the design process, pre-design concept and schematic, and helps you do that in a modern ecosystem, which is not your traditional ecosystem of desktop apps like Revit, SketchUp, Rhino. It's all on the cloud. So it's collaborative and it's the fastest design tool that you will encounter in the market. So whatever you would do in like 100 hours, you'll be able to do the same thing in 20 to 30 hours inside Snaptrude. That's in very simple words if I have to explain it.
All right, I do think we should go to the app itself. So and I see you have a couple of slides. So let me move so we can now see your screen.
Yeah, sure. I'll just set the stage a little bit.
Yep.
So the reason why Snaptrude should exist is because I strongly believe that it's been 25, close to 30 years since BIM was introduced. And I would say it's still very closely, still like a dream. Like it was supposed to unify everything. But we still have more silos today, right from people using SketchUp and Rhino, then sharing files, then having PDFs uploaded to Bluebeam, then doing collaboration in Miro, then again doing it in Navisworks. So the promise of BIM is great, but still hasn't been realized. And we strongly believe that it's because of these three reasons. People are not on the same page. Everybody is referring to different information. Their tools are not connected. Everybody has their own tool, be it Bluebeam, SketchUp, Rhino, Revit, Miro, whatever they use. And the data that they need to take decisions is buried deep inside spreadsheets or some plugin. Like what is your target areas? What is your sustainability data? All of this is like silo. And this is what Snaptrude was born with. Can we connect the people, the tools, and the data? And the moment you do this, a connected ecosystem can enable faster iterations across the cycle. Because people are now referring to the same document. They're using the same data to understand whether you are meeting your requirements or away from the requirements. And your tools, which are siloed in nature, are connected, so you're not redrawing or recreating the same wall 10 times. And this is only possible if you rebuild the design tool. You cannot patch it up in Revit or SketchUp or Rhino because they were not built for the modern ecosystem. 25 years later, the world has adopted internet like nothing else. Every other app that we use is connected, be it Notion, Miro, Figma. Every other industry has changed, but why are we still in our design workflows using these tools which were built in late 90s? And with this, that's what our compelling reason is. You have to rebuild. You cannot patch things to solve this problem. And that's what I think the new Snaptrude presents. And we are accelerating it across the early stage today, but the intention is that we should be able to go beyond schematic into construction drawings, design development, and marry the entire workflow in this cloud across programming to documentation.
Yeah, I saw these are kind of the four pillars of the way you approach the four, I don't know if you call it phase or main problems that you're tackling, like the four things below, right?
Exactly. So programming, which is where whenever you're first starting a work on a project, you would collate information like what does the client want, like a school project or a new hospital, how many beds, what are the building codes, what's the zoning requirements. You would study it largely in a spreadsheet. Why don't that spreadsheet exist in isolation? Why is it not connected to your design? So the program is then connected to your design. You can use a spreadsheet to create your building blocks. And as your building blocks are changing, your spreadsheets keep updating and telling you how far away you're from requirements. Are you satisfying your cost parameter? Are you satisfying your building code? Are you violating it? Real-time sync. And when you need to now present it to your customers, you have to tell a story. You have to create visualizations. You have to create drawings. You have to create the narrative of why this makes sense. And you don't have to now use another documentation tool or a presentation tool. Why can't you just do it here itself using a present board? And when the project fortunately goes to the next stage, you have to detail it out. And when you detail it out, typically that means throw away your SketchUp file or your Rhino file, restart again in Revit, start drawing it from scratch. But instead, why do you have to redraw? Why can the design not evolve? And that's what our BIM mode enables. So this is the loop which we want to create. Program, design, present, BIM. And it's not siloed, it's all connected.
Yeah, and often in project, it rarely goes in such a straight way. So I guess you have diagonal lines as well, right?
Exactly. That's what we should solve for. Make iterations easy. So you don't have to like break your head every time a client comes back and says 30% budget cut, figure it out. What do you want to cut? Like, you should be able to take these decisions fairly quickly.
Sure. All right. So do you want to go out and present the new version of Snaptrude? Do you have it? Yeah, there it is. So it's all web based. There's no desktop app, right?
Yeah, it's all web based and performant. As you can see, this is a project which we just prepared for the launch today. That resembles our logo.
I'll
try to actually try and come as close as possible, but it was done by a very nice architect in our team. So I'll replicate as much as I can in the next few minutes.
So is that next to a cliff or something? Where is that located?
Yeah.
Just curious.
This is in California, La Jolla Beach. Let's go there. I'll start from there itself. Let's start a project. Again, everything is on the browser, so I'm using Google Chrome.
Yeah.
This is how the dashboard looks like. So you can have your own teams.
And you're on a Mac, right?
Yes,
where
I'm on a Mac.
Revit users typically they cannot use Mac.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is what the dashboard looks like. So you can have multiple organizations, and you can have your own teams. Each team can have multiple people with permissions. So you can set up roles. You can have your own templates like you have in Revit. You can have your own libraries for walls, slabs, etc. And these could be imported from Revit. So you could literally use your existing templates and existing libraries to do design. Let's start the project. We've just launched this 2 modes for you to start a project. You can kickstart it with AI or with a blank canvas. Let's start with AI. So what I have done is I have got an RFP for this project, which is prepared. I'll just do a quick look. It's very simple. So it's a lab that we are designing, which is shaped like Snaptrude. a bunch of requirements and what is the count and square footage for this Nova Research Center. I'm just going to upload this RFP. You can, of course, upload big things. And you can now go to the site. Let's just go to the location. It's on this beach. Yeah. I'll do the satellite mode also. It is P0010 is the place where I need to locate. Yeah, this is the.
Where's that? Is that near in like Orange County or something? Shout out to people
Yes.
from La Jolla in California watching live.
I haven't been here, but this is the project which the team picked
Yeah.
because they
Uh,
wanted to show the terrain.
yeah, I'm curious. So I have a question already. So what kind of AI are you using? Is this connected to the API to OpenAI or another model?
Yeah, so we have built agents on top of the existing models. Right now, we are using the OpenAI O3 model in the enterprise mode, but it's swappable. We can choose whatever is the best at any point of time. But this AI is enriched with context about each type of project. Like how would research labs be done, schools be done, hospitals be done. They have context about the building code in North America right now. But if you're in any other region, you can upload your building code documents or zoning code documents, and it will use that as a context to come up with this design. So the project is already created, and it gives you these are the assumptions, and these are the references which it has taken. The NIH Design Requirement Manual, and these manuals can be your manuals as well. You can upload them. So it will do a much closer job to how you guys design. Once it's ready, you just do click to launch. It launches these two modes. One is the program mode, and the other one is the design mode. So
Yeah,
I'll let it.
and what you showed in the slides, we actually see it in the menu on top, like the program, design, BIM, and present, right? So it's not just the
Exactly.
slide thing; it's actually on the UI.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. And here's the requirement which is created. Like to read an RFP, like people actually put in a 30, 40 page RFP into Snaptrude now. And
Yeah,
within two
and
minutes, they have this
that
ready.
was a PDF. So the AI converted PDF requirements into this Excel-like spreadsheet. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's live. So I could just like select things here. And these are selected within the design canvas as well. So I could come back and select these guys. And this is selecting these spaces. And a lot more data is still embedded within it. Like what is the targets? Which stories do they belong to? And everything is configurable. I can just go and like make these into second floor. And these will go and sit into second floor. So second floor is created, first floor is created. So these guys have now come to the second floor. And of course, this is looking like Excel and behaving like Excel. So it would do everything which you expect from Excel. So you can add cost per square feet, do your cost calculation, all your formulas work. You can create new tabs and do your financial modeling or any other math that you need to do do your design changes. So everything works as is. So I can go back into my design. This is the location. So I'm just going to select, I'm going to delete this blocks which are created because we are going to do more outside in modeling. But if you're interested in doing like inside out modeling, which is mostly schools, etc., you can start doing space planning like how I'm doing right now. So you can create these departments, arrange them to come up with a building form, go to 3D, see what it's looking like. But right now I'm going to delete it because I have to create something more closer to what we had. So I'm going to select similar, delete them. Let's just delete all the spaces. Yeah. So going back over here, so I'm going to keep the satellite view. So a lot of configuration options are available even on your map. So I'll enable the satellite mode itself. Move this location over here. And let's just draw the site. So I'll use the site functionality this way. Say this is our site. I can now understand what the site area is. It automatically picks it up. I could start defining what the FAR, etc. looks like. So I could set up a target FAR, maybe 1.25, and I could even define a deviation. And here I could start now drawing our building. So I'm gonna use a 50 feet, not 15, 50 feet depth. I'm gonna sketch it out in this way. It's supposed to be about 106 feet like this, 110 degrees, and about 100 feet like this. So we have created a building shape. I'm gonna copy this thing. I'm gonna invert it. So it starts looking like our logo.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It looks like the logo. And just a little aside, I was doing some research on La Jolla. It's actually, because the name is like, I do remember the city name. It's actually where it's near San Diego, and that's where the famous Salk Institute building by Louis Kahn is located. So that's why it sounded familiar.
Yeah, a lot of labs in this area is what I learned when I was doing the research. So I'm just splitting this building so that it has like straight cuts over here. So it looks a little neat. And if I want to like create some filling, so I could just like draw out a curve, do that. And since these two are copies of each other, you can see like the edits are happening across both of them. So I could select this guy. So it has like smooth edges now. And I've like even snapped this to be aligned towards this edge itself. So I could maintain all of those snaps, etc., and control it. Now let's go into our.
I'm curious. I do have a little question. So
Yes.
The process typically, if as I remember, in early phase, we typically receive a CAD file from a surveyor or civil engineer or something with kind of the lines very precisely.
Correct.
So how would you deal with that if you wanted ultra precise to the nearest inch or millimeter to put this data in?
Yeah, you could import a DWG. So if you have data available, you can bring it in. Be it, say, if you have a Revit file or a CAD file, bring that topography in. And just you can start tracing over it. And CAD files snap inside Snaptrude. So you'll actually get the precision which you want to. But when that is unavailable, when you're just like pitching for the project, this would serve your purposes.
Yeah.
And this is, as I said, like not just static data. You can actually like bring up buildings. So say we want to demolish this building in this project. It's sitting on our site. The rest of the buildings are here. And I can actually just enable elevation, and you can see how it tapers off. It's a topo socket, actually. And now I can set the datum wherever I want it. So this is the location. I'll just like move this guy a little bit so we can do cut fill analysis and stuff like that. Yeah. So this is where our building is sitting. And say I want to do 2 levels on the site. I'm just following the brief which was given to me. So like I'm not a designer, but like I'm just trying to create things which it resembles like. These are the 3 segments, and I could just like come here and extrude it till this height. This is the first elevation. And this one, I'll probably move it down to about 11 feet. So these are 3 elevations of the site which exist. Now I can just quickly do cut and fill, select this guy, this guy, this guy, and I can even choose how I want to cut it. I'm going to go for a straight 90-degree cut. Takes a few seconds, and this is how it has leveled out your building. I'll hide and you can see this is how it's. Mostly it is fill. There's very little cut that has happened, like a little bit of cut here, but mostly it's fill. And if you need the quantities for this, you could just go to takeoff, and this is your net cut and fill quantities available to you. So you can keep iterating and understanding all of these things. Now let me add a couple floors and maybe 5 floors here. So it's looking like some building shape. The FAR is still under control, 0.73. I can take these two guys and make them unique. So they're not copies of each other. The others are still copies. So if I edit them, the others are getting edited. But if I edit these, they become unique in its own nature.
It's unique for the specific floor you selected.
Exactly. Because I just wanted to offset this by 3 feet each.
Yeah, so it's some sort of a podium building or something like that.
Yes. And I'll quickly select and delete these guys. So we have some kind of podium building created over here. Now, if I want to keep looking at areas, this is how the area distribution is. Story 1, story 2. I've not yet assigned them to the right segments, but I can start assigning them to the right segments by calling this as maybe research. And I can go back to areas and start looking at it from gross external area perspective or net internal by departments. And I can start seeing that 42% of my research is achieved. So you always know this was your requirement, which came in from your program, and this is what your design is achieving. So you'll always be able to track it in real time. This is one type of data. The other type of data is actually in your massing analysis. So you could actually choose the days on which you want to run solar analysis. Click a button, and it'll take a few seconds and help create your solar analysis review for you, so that you can adjust the shape of the building, the north of the building, based on this output. So this is California. You want maybe a lot of sun or maybe less sun. Yeah, you can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm sure people are wondering how is this different from format? Do you see this feature as similar? Could it be complementary? It's different. What would you say?
I think daylight is more essential in the design journey. So you'll see that a lot of tools specialize in it or have it. But the way we look at it is, this is an important aspect to complete the job of completing a design. So that's how we are thinking. It is less about comparing features between tools. It's about what do I need to get the job done. In that way, you can compare it to Forma as well. They also have daylight analysis, and so do so many other tools as well, like Revit through a plugin or SketchUp through a plugin. But the way we look at it is it's more integrated. You can just change the building shape, rerun it, and the design, areas, and sustainability all are looped and tied in together. So you go faster. You don't have to hop between tools. That's the intention. Awesome. So this is a daylight. Say I'm happy with this. I can now probably start going into the plan views. Let's go to the 3rd floor, and say I want to do space planning. So I could start going into my draw tool, maintain some segment over here. Use this midpoint to create a snap. So all your snapping, etc., is very similar to how you would do it in any other tools. It's fairly mature. You could start cutting these to create some spaces. I'm going to maybe draw another space here and just draw out a corridor. Yeah. And since these are copies of each other, all of these floor plans are created for you across all floors. And at every stage, your plan views are getting updated. And you can keep going into settings, change it to texture, monochrome. You want to see the departments. How do you want to update the views? Everything is there. You can change the background, make it look fancier. All your controls which you expect from a design tool or an authoring tool to have are all there.
Are there some options capabilities? I know that's I'm a big proponent of using Revit over CAD, for example, but I know many people still use CAD and in that phase of trying to put blocks together because it's easier to just copy and paste and try kind of 20 different iterations of the same layouts, for example. So how do you see options working this workflow?
So the right now you can just like create a template or save as, and create it inside a folder and create
Create a
versions,
copy.
and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
will, yeah, basically that's how it works right now. However, we are launching something which is built inside, so you can create design options very similar to how Revit does, but it's not yet there in this version, but it will come out soon.
Great. I have another one. So you showed at the beginning that we could see all the building code references because we've selected the site. And also you have 3D data. So do you know what parts of the words are currently covered by these these options? Is it mostly in the US, Europe? So where will these features be available?
The topography and the site is fairly global in nature, so most of the word is covered because we use two data sources right now, and we are consistently adding more data sources. So it has thorough coverage. So it is using OpenStreetMaps and Mapbox. So across the world, you should be able to get data, be it say Southeast Asia, India. We have customers globally using that capability.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just assigning departments. So you can see the colors changing, and all of these colors come from your spreadsheet where it was configured. All of these
Yeah, can you
colors.
okay, yeah, because in the you could assign the colors in the spreadsheet. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You can change it here if you want to. Like you can
Uh-huh.
just change the name or like
And it will change
maybe
the color in the spreadsheet as well, I would guess, right?
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Like you could change it somewhere. And now we have some kind of like building shape getting created, a space plan. And when you're ready, you can go to the present mode. And this is like Miro meets your documentation meets InDesign. So you can have sheets for your documentation. They come with like your standard printable sizes, ANSI-C, ANSI-D, etc. You can set up portrait, landscape, with margins. But again, the beauty is it's all connected. So your plans are right here. So I could just like drag my plan view here. The labels are too big, but I'll change the scale of the of the sheet. So this is my plan 3, I think, which I brought in. And I could just change the fonts over here. I could crop this. If I need to go and like maybe bring a 3D view, so I'll just like save this as a 3D view. I'll go back to my present mode. The 3D view is here, so I could just like drag and drop my 3D view as well. Place it here. I could add a title block. I'll show you something which is done well. But again, as I said, like it's all editable. So these are all vectors. So I can like move this text, like any other documentation thing. Select this, make it bold, italicized, change the fonts. All of these changes can be done. And if you want to even customize it further, like you want to make it into rounded corners or bubbles, you can do that. So you don't want to present how the building looks like. You can just create adjacency diagrams and bubbles. You want them to have rounded corners, or you can go with proper plans.
And what about these? I'm used to room tags in Revit, for example. So are these tags, for example, does it always reflect? Because you said you can change the text. Does it make the change in the program as well, or are these separate?
Here, it won't change it. It will pick it up from your design mode. Whatever you have typed here, it
Yeah,
will come directly there. But here, if you change it in the present mode, we don't update back the design. The only
yeah, yeah,
reason is because this is almost like a slide.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
for
I see. Yeah,
presentation purposes, you might make some changes which you don't want to be reflected. So you can do that.
I see. Yeah, so it's yeah, that's typically the phase where people export like to InDesign, Illustrator, whatever they use, or Photoshop, and they start putting more information. So you see it as a you don't want the present mode to affect the design mode.
Yes, but you can make it like there is an update button, so you can update it, but we have given the control to the user. We are not doing it on their behalf because you don't want people's presentation to be updated 5 minutes before before their actual client meeting.
All right, I see. All right, great. So we
This is a
saw.
more completed model.
Is this the
Like this
same
is
one?
massing.
Yeah.
I have like this is after I spend say another 30-40 minutes, add some trees, put some water bodies, do some
Hmm.
more modeling. Like these all shapes can be created. Um, put some staircases. All of these are like parametric objects, so you can log these staircases. They belong to a story. What type of staircase it is? This is a glass railing. Materials of it. What are the parameters? So this is like full parametric modeling that you can do to create this level of detail.
Is it a different mode? No, it's the same design mode. So after you've done the massing, how do you convert it to a more to the next phase like this? You just start using the modeling tools.
Yeah, so one is this is still modeling tools, but say you want to create BIM objects, BIM elements. You go to BIM tab, and we have automated that process. Let me just refresh this. So this is your massing mode. You just go to BIM. We have this capability called Sketch to BIM, which we showed 2 years ago. We've just made it better. You can start choosing your families. So I could say external wall is glass curtain, internal is maybe wood stud, interior. I can, of course, configure all of these parameters. And when I'm ready, just like click one button and it would convert whatever massing which you have done into a parametric BIM model in a matter of like seconds, as you can see now. So it has created all of these external walls, slabs, details automatically. And these are all parametric still. So I can just like go to this curtain wall. And these parameters are there. So I could like just make changes, like how you would do it.
Nice. And
And
you
these
said
could be
that.
wall families from Revit.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. I remember that you said that you can. How does that work? You import your family collection and including system families like walls and so on into Snaptrude.
Yeah. So you can, typically people have a template file. We have a
Yeah.
Revit import through a plugin inside Revit. So you can just download this plugin, Snaptrude Manager, and just import from Revit into Snaptrude. And every element which you import has this ability to add to library. So you can just like keep adding things to the library. Anything which you create inside Snaptrude or imported, you can just keep adding to the library.
And what does it mean when you send back to Revit? Does it mean that it's smart and it recognizes that it's kind of a former Revit element and converts it to the correct one?
Yes, it does. Like, so this is BIM, right? Like I have created a much better looking, or like the team has created a much better looking BIM model. It has like facades and more glass curtain wall. And when you're ready, as I said, like you can just export out this trude file, which we call, and our plugin reads it. Or you can also do like a direct Revit export. I'm just going to save this. And let's just open Revit. I had done this, but I use a Mac, so I need to do some setup in Revit. But let's open Revit.
Are you using parallels or something like that, or bootcamp?
Yeah, I'm using parallels.
Yeah, it doesn't always work well from what I've heard.
Yeah, but Revit takes its own time to open. So you can actually see the difference between old guard and the new guard.
Mm-hmm.
This project, I was able to open like 4 files or 5 files here. I could refresh, I could reload. And the opening and the closing and the navigation was way smoother compared to
good old
Revit,
clunky
which will
Revit.
take its own time. Yes. Of course, we cannot do everything which Revit does, so I'm not like taking
no.
that.
Yeah, that's I've been covering all the emerging apps, and what I've realized actually rebuilding Revit is not so easy. It actually does a lot of things, right?
Exactly. So that's why we need a better way to do it. With like Revit was groundbreaking in late 90s, but it's 25 years later. We need more groundbreaking things which are built in 2020's tech.
Yeah. And so at what phase would you actually push to Revit, for example? And is it, and you push and then there's a new phase and you just use Revit? Is there a back and forth, a link that is possible?
Yeah. So Good question. So the way today users use Snaptrude is end of concept, early schematic is where they push it over to Revit. After they have like done their third or fourth presentation to customer, concept is frozen. They just create these families and do some facade and push it to Revit and start doing like design development, coordination with MEP and structural, and get it to construction drawings. Some of them are actually pushing a little further. They try to finish the schematic and do it, but majority, I would still say, our customers move out in early schematic phase. But the next 12-month plan is, can we keep them longer and longer here? So we build all of those features so they go later to Revit.
Mm-hmm. And you tell me about the kind of customers that are using Snaptrude right now. Can you tell me about the typical firm size, what kind of projects they're working on?
Yeah, so it's largely, as I said, mid to large size firms. What I mean by that is on the lower end, it's about like 50, 60 people. And on
Mm-hmm.
the higher end, we have firms that have like close to 1,000 people as well, who are using. Of course, it's not like every team in those 1,000 people office is using us, but we start with institutional projects. That's where we have seen a lot of success, where there is a lot of requirements. The programming stage, which you saw, the spreadsheet, there's a lot of work to do that, which is schools, hospitals, K through 12, government work. All of these projects is what we are seeing the first adoption. And the second phase is mixed use, where financials, developer driven projects are important, multifamily. You need to get unit mixes right. You need to get proportions of residential versus commercial versus retail right. These are second types of projects where we are seeing teams within these big offices converting to use Snaptrude.
What are the features of the reinvention of Snaptrude that people have been enjoying the most? I'm asking, but I often see that the users that the founders and the team like the most can be different from that of the customers. So anything that surprised you or that your customers are really enjoying?
Yeah, there are a lot of things which we get surprised by. I'll tell you. Um, the one thing which I showed you, like, let's go to the present mode of this. This has a much better presentation over here. So you can create this. Something as simple as creating these bubble diagram mode, if you see,
Yeah.
rounded corners.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a simple feature, but people love this. I
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
still haven't been able to, and I was surprised why people love this so much. Another great capability is our program mode. People love using these spreadsheets, and they stay longer and longer and longer within these spreadsheets. I think I might need to open this again, but yeah, like people love our programming functionality. Of course, there are a lot of surprises that we keep seeing. People get us into.
Uh, right. Yeah. Did you have anything else to show about this, or it's the
Uh,
program has been and these rounded the diagrams.
yes, this is the program. So the
Yeah. Okay.
rounded corners and the yeah.
Um, Tell me about
So
updates and
just
new
refresh it.
versions while that's loading. So in Revit, we have the yearly release. You have to deploy. It takes a long time. It's a bit complex. So I guess the hope with web tools is you don't have to deal with this anymore. So is this something people have to worry, or is the concept of version of Snaptrude that doesn't exist anymore? You just always use the latest version.
Yeah, you always use the latest version. So we keep pushing updates in the backend. There's nothing called upgrading your model, downgrading your model. So you don't have to worry about that at all. We have
Mm-hmm.
got users using us for over 3 years, and they don't have to worry about like, can I open my 4-year-old project or not? It all opens, you don't feel it. The UI updates are also gradual. So we do like this was a big one having program to present. So we gradually transition users, first existing customers, then early access, then today everyone. So you can get used to the pace as you want.
So you've said that you've just relaunched today. So can people get started? Is there a free trial? What kind of pricing plans do you have for people to get started if they want to try the new version of Snaptrude?
Yeah, it's available right on our website, and we've made it very easy for anybody to get started. So you can just like go to our website. Our website is changed to directly allow you to start your project. You can type in what you want or use some of the prompts there and just start using it. It'll give you a Kickstarter project. It comes with 3 free projects for any free user to try it on. And if you want to upgrade, there are 2 plans. Largely, the individual users or smaller firms, less than 10 people, can upgrade to our Pro plan, which is $50 a month. And organizations which are slightly bigger customers can use the $100 per month plan, where you get access to all the collaboration, the templates and libraries, all of those features.
You got a pretty big team, right? So how many people are working at Snaptrude?
Right now, it's about, I think, close to 90 people in the team right now globally. Yeah, a lot of hard work has gone into whatever you're seeing and using today with Snaptrude.
Yeah, that's gonna be about the one of the largest team for the so-called all BIM 2.0 apps, right?
Yeah. I think we should be. I haven't checked it, but I think could. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also saw a chart. I think it was from Martin Day at the Next Dev conference where we had all the BIM 2.0 apps, and you with a line of all the phases they can do. And I noticed that the Snaptrude line of all the phases can work on was longer, meaning that we can use Snaptrude on more phases of a project, right?
Yeah, definitely the capability is there, as you saw, like spanning across programming, designing, BIM to present. Um, Comfortably, we are able to get people across still schematic. The idea is like, can we keep doing more and more slowly as we get more feedback from our customers? And eventually, you don't have to hop between too many tools to get your work done.
Yeah. I have a question from on
I
the
wanted to
chat.
show the Revit.
Yeah, go ahead, and
Yes,
then
go
we'll
ahead.
take some question. No, go ahead. Yeah, let's go to Revit.
Go.
Oh, it's loading. Maybe we have
Let me
time for
just
the
open
question
this
then.
first.
It's Revit, right? So,
Yes.
a question from
Yeah.
Mauricio. Hello, Mauricio. I actually know him. Question: If I work in an office that starts using Snaptrude in the following year, how can I assure my team that Snaptrude will be around in the next 5 years so they fully adapt their workflows?
Yeah, totally understand this concern. And I think this is where having the right team, the right investors, and the right approach is required. So we have been doing this for the last 7 years, and we have had the one side persistence, the persistence across the team as well as the investors today to come this far, and we have managed to raise over $22 million to go after this big thing. And for the next 5 to 6 years, we have the capital and the runway and the support of our customers to enable that. We'll continue to keep doing it. And like for that matter, the world has to move beyond the existing status quo. And that's what good investors, opportunistic teams are here to enable. And fortunate to say that we are one of the few peoples which has all of those boxes covered. A great team which is persistent and great investors who's backed us for the last 7 years and will continue to back us for the next whatever it takes to be around and help our customers.
Yeah, so you are well funded and you have planned for many years.
Exactly. Yeah.
And okay, we do have Revit finally open.
Yeah.
So
So this is everything that is coming.
okay, so is that an import? Is that a link? How does that work?
Yeah. So there is a plugin inside Snaptrude, so
Yeah,
called Snaptrude Manager.
yeah.
I'll skip this. I think I might have to log in. But there's basically one button to just import and export. So this is. Try again. Yeah. So there's basically 2 buttons. You can import to Revit. You can just navigate to the file which we downloaded. And it takes about like 2 minutes to create this entire building geometry for you. So all your plans are here. Orbit here. I'm a little bad at using Revit. Sorry about that. Yeah. So all of these plans, etc., everything is created. Um, you can see that these are proper walls. The room boundaries are there. You can see the wall types have come in. They have these layers. So this looks like a proper Revit file. So this is metal stud interior, which I had chosen to create this project. So all your elements are here. You don't have to redraw.
Mm-hmm. So something that I did notice of that most of the BIM 2.0 startups are focused on the early phase. So I was wondering if that's because of market reasons, or actually wonder maybe the documentation part of Revit is actually really difficult to recreate. What do you think?
I think I'll tell you the reasons why we picked early design. Um, Three reasons. One is early design is the place where most of the mess is. Uh, Late stage Revit is, I think, the predominant tool that you use. But in early stages where you have to use too many tools, probably like 7, 8 different tools, right from, as I said, like spreadsheet, SketchUp, Rhino, Revit, InDesign, Miro, rendering software, and you are so crunched for time in early stage design that you're not even making a lot of money. Like most of the firms actually like
They
lose
lose money.
money or
Yes.
yeah
Mm-hmm.
at the early stage. And the third thing is early stage has the most biggest impact on the life cycle of the project, proven time and time again through so many papers.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we picked early stage design. Let's have an impact. Let's make the unprofitable stage profitable. So
Mm-hmm.
they are more eager to try out a new tool than whatever they're used to in their legacy system. And then slowly they'll stay longer and longer and longer.
Nice. So what's the next major project that you're trying to tackle at Snaptrude? I remember last time we've talked, you had, maybe it's not something public, but you have all these charts about all the decisions and the tools that people had to decide in the course of a project in all the phases. That was pretty impressive. But any specific ones that you're trying to add?
Yeah, the major one is what we call as a mass BIM integration or like LOD hopping. So this is a LOD 250-ish model right now with like some BIM elements and all. We can push it to 300 by adding more details. But like projects are never linear. They can go back. So if value engineering happens and like say you have to cut the budget by 30%, so you have to go back to the massing stage. You have to go back to the earlier stage than this. So you should be able to quickly go back and make changes to that massing study and then add your details again. So this is the massing stage. You should be able to come back and like quickly do push pull and then go back to BIM. So this is the cycle which we want to bring. The cycle which we have brought between program, design, BIM, and present. We want to do it more tightly between all the level of detail. 100, 200, 300, and eventually even like 350. So you should be able to go back to 200, make changes, quickly go back to 350 without having to redraw. This is the major undertaking which we have going on right now.
We have a comment from someone in the chat saying, after using Snaptrude for a little bit as a daily Revit user, I'd much rather start with Snaptrude.
Awesome. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I still have so many questions for you. Any other features you wanted to demonstrate?
I think covered most of them. Like
don't you have like
decided
presentation features like AI rendering and thing along those lines?
Yes. So, but yeah, AI render is also built in, so you could actually like create these beautiful visualizations and renders all within the system. So let's maybe try creating one. So
and how does that work? Is that an internal model that you've built, or?
yeah, so we built an internal AI rendering model. I think I might have to refresh this. So built an AI rendering model that actually refers to the building geometry a lot more in detail, and also looks at your materiality and gives you the option how much ever you want to choose. You can do that. And this is the preview of whatever you want to see. Maybe let's go take a more closer perspective so we can see a bit. This is the thing. You can choose some settings. You can go as creative. So the materials will change if you go more creative. Let's choose summer and render. or you can type a prompt as well. And let it, it takes about 40 seconds.
And wait, I didn't catch the beginning. So was that from the more lower LOD or the schematic design, or it was from the more advanced one, or the one that we see in the background?
This is more from
this
the,
one.
yeah, this is what you see in the background. So it's more, a slightly more detailed model for the LOD 250-ish.
And how much creative liberties that this the AI model takes, because sometimes it's like, oh, that part looks a bit strange or not precise enough to show to a customer, for example.
From a geometry perspective, it will adhere to your design intent. Only materiality, you can be as creative or as accurate as you want it to be.
I see. Yeah, that's pretty
cool. We'll adhere to the geometry a lot, as like over 95%. So you can see like the people and all the trees, it's picked all of those details.
Nice. All right.
So you control the hallucinations a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and I guess you can drag and drop to the present mode afterwards as this is to add these images in the canvas, infinite canvas.
Exactly. So as you can see, all of this perforated material, it has adhered. But since we were very creative, it did some creative liberty with the materials, but it has kept the people, the trees, the stairs, all of those like very similar. It has respected that this was like shorter stairs and this is the longer stairs. So it really maintains that. And you can then save it, go back to present mode, and like go to views. All of these renders are available here for you to quickly drag and drop into your system.
How do you think AI will impact the future of Snaptrude or just get AC BIM app in the future?
I think AI will be a very important part of all the new AEC startups which you would see. And even with Snaptrude, we have been investing a lot with AI in the last, I would say, 18 months. We haven't publicly released the core geometry AI features. Like I think I might have shown you the preview, but it will come soon. Maybe in the next 10 days. I'm not sure what's wrong with this model, but it's troubling a little bit. So yeah, like AI is going to be, I think, very ubiquitous in all the AEC tools going forward. And we have a big roadmap which will showcase.
Yeah, you have the roadmap you can showcase, or?
I can maybe talk about it a little bit because I've spoken about it in the Next Build conference. So I'll probably exit that. So what we have done is, you saw our website where the AI actually helped you create your program requirements from your RFP. The next stage is, how do you take those program requirements and start creating space plans? And that's what the next stage of Snaptrude AI will be, which is taking your rough program requirements, those building blocks which are created. How do you start creating them with some geometry to create building forms? So let's start with a blank project here. Leave this, go to program mode. So you can create a learning center. So right now it would just give you the adjacencies. Like this is the program which is created now by AI. And these are the building blocks which are created. And these are the departments and these are the spaces. So I'll just like say, deal with the departments. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So you could just ask the AI to compute the adjacencies. So it'll start giving you a relationship between these departments. And using those adjacencies, you can start doing space planning. Again, this is done based on the building code, historical projects, various typologies. So it has expertise in healthcare versus schools versus other types of buildings, and it'll give you these recommendations.
And then you can still kind of manually adjust it.
Yeah, like AI is like how you would write your email. You start writing your email, it'll just help you complete the sentence.
Yeah.
It'll never take your intent for granted. It'll always respect your intent. It'll just help you complete it. You don't have to type all the letters, right? Like just auto type it for you. Yeah. So these are the adjacencies which are computed.
Yeah, what I found is some AI tools are like they generate something that's like 90% accurate, but then there's always part that are inaccurate, and the time to fix it, it's actually longer that if you would have started from scratch. So I do like that you can still manually adjust all of it.
Yeah, the idea is to keep respecting the user's command. You can delegate as much as you want. You could say like, hey, this department is boring. You ask AI to help with it. The rest all you still do the envelope and the massing and
Mm-hmm.
the good design part of it. You can use it to do it.
All right. I think we've had a pretty good overview of the tool. I encourage everyone to try it out and share feedback. So, you mentioned that you wanted to share some things about the roadmap. Do you want to go there?
Yeah, so this was the one major thing, which is the adjacencies
Okay, that's the
driven
one.
by AI. So,
Okay, is that live already on the app, or that's upcoming?
no, this will be live within the next month or
Oh,
so.
okay, okay, I see. So it's not this part isn't live yet.
Yes.
Okay, well then we had a pretty good overview. So let me just mention a couple of more things, and then we'll close out the show. Uh, Once again, this Friday, I'm hosting an office hours session that is for BIM Pure members. You can join the membership if you're already a member to attend and brainstorm together and solve any of your BIM and Revit problems. And check out the BIM Pure membership where we have collections of doors and windows. In fact, we just released a brand new update to our Revit Windows collection, including sliding windows, the hung and mountains, and you can always download our complete PDF guide if you want to have the preview of the complete collection before you purchase. And the way to get these windows is to subscribe for years to BIM Pure, which also gives you access to all of the course, all the contents, all the live master classes, and the mini course that we create with multiple BIM and AC Tech experts. So check it out at bimpure.com. And that's it. I guess the next episode of Impure Live is gonna be after the summer, so we're taking a little break before that. So, yeah, back to you, Altaf. Any final word, comment, call to action, or request for my audience that you wanted to say before we close the show?
Yeah, so I think the AC industry is at a very nice point. So many tools, and we are glad to be doing this comprehensively. So do go ahead, go to our website and start designing in Snaptrude and let us know if this fits your workflow. We would be happy to support your office and team to get onto Snaptrude and improve it.
All right. So check out Snaptrude, snaptrude.com, right?
Yes.
Snaptrude.com. Check it out. The brand new version is now available for the public. It was private for a while, but now it's returned with the new version. So thank you so much, Altaf. Thanks to everyone watching live, and I will see you in a few weeks. All right, goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.